we're going to finish on something fun and interesting. Chat. It's Nick time. Nick is going to tell us about how to become an electrician and how trade schools are all a scam. Are we ready? Oh, and by the way, 603, thank you for the follow. All right, chat, let us get learned, shall we?
It's always fun starting a YouTube video when you just know it's going to upset a lot of people. Today we're talking about how to become an electrician and why any community college or tech school or trade school that tries to get you to go to their program for 2 years to get a certificate or a diploma so that you can become an electrician is more or less a scam.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay.
And just so we're clear, I am a journeyman electrician. I have been for the past 5 years. The 5 years before that, I was a helper and an apprentice, so I've been doing this for 10 years. Since starting this whole YouTube thing I got going on, I've gotten thousands of emails from high school kids that want to figure out how to become an electrician and veterans that are leaving the military that want to transition over into the electrical field. And this is everything I tell them and everything I wish somebody told me when I was first trying to figure out how to become an electrician. Because if you get on the internet and Google how to become an electrician, it's very confusing. There's like 1,000 different answers. Most of them are wrong, and half of them are trying to sell you something that you need to pay thousands of dollars to get that you don't actually need. And just so we're clear, I have no horse in this race, right? We're going to play an ad here in a second. That's how I make my money. Once that ad plays, I've made all the money I'm going to make off this video. Unlike most, if not all the other YouTube videos on this topic, I am not an instructor at a school that I'm trying to get you to go to. I don't have an online course that I've made to teach you how to do this job. I don't have anything to sell you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So let's play this ad so I can make my money, and then I'll tell you everything.
Nicholas,
Yes.
you've been so good this year. You should go buy yourself something nice.
These magic beans.
Yes.
Okay, what am I supposed to buy?
Something to feed the whole family.
You want me to go buy a grill for Father's Day with magic beans so I can cook you food?
Yes.
Fine.
6.5 hours later.
Why did she give him a leather glove? She didn't even have a pouch. Look, she gave him a leather glove. This is the pouch. It's a leather glove.
Careful. Careful.
Can I write something on this?
I don't give a shit.
What the hell is this?
You told me to get something for Father's Day.
Is this thing gonna cook any meat?
It'll cook something.
All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell, okay? There's a saying, if you're not paying for the product,
If it
you
fits,
are
it
the
sits,
product.
Naga.
What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either gonna feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're gonna collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers, and if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, here's the deal. When people say I want to be an electrician, what they're actually saying is I want to be a journeyman or a master electrician. The only way to do that is to graduate from an apprenticeship program and then take the state exam and pass it. At that point, you become a journeyman.
Hold up. Off topic. Has Nick always had those, like, Viking rune symbols on his fingers? I don't remember him having those. Are those new? Yeah. Okay, I thought so. I don't remember him ever having those. Okay. Like, he's, like, done that, holding his hand up before, and I do not remember any of these before. Okay, I was just wondering if I was losing my mind and that I couldn't remember them. No. Okay, yes, Norse runes, Ryan. Yes, Norse runes.
to graduate from an apprenticeship program and then take the state exam and pass it. At that point, you become a journeyman. Then, typically after you've worked as of 1 year for a journeyman, you are eligible to go and take another state exam that's harder to get your master's license. That's it. That's everything. Anything outside of that is unnecessary and probably a waste of money. There is no trade school or college program that you can go to for 2 years and get a diploma or a certificate and be qualified to take the state journeyman's exam. It's not allowed. This varies slightly from state to state, but I'm going to talk about the state of Iowa. It's very similar everywhere else. To graduate an apprenticeship program, you have to have 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, meaning you just have to go to work as an electrician's apprentice for 8,000 hours, which is about 4 years of working 40 hours a week. In addition to that, you need 800 hours of classroom time, and you have to pass a bunch of tests. Now, that classroom time varies from apprenticeship program to apprenticeship program, but typically it's either going to be night classes a couple nights a week for the 4 years, or in my particular case, my boss would just give us a week off and we would go to this school and we would have classes for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and we did that 4 or 5 times a year for the 4 years that I was in. Those classes are paid for by the contractor. If you're in a union apprenticeship, the union has their own schools, and if you're in a non-union apprenticeship, typically the state runs an apprenticeship program. Your contractor pays the state to be able to send you to the school. People argue and get in a big pissing match about which one's better. At the end of the day, they both get you the exact same journeyman's license. But if you go to college first, you can get all the classroom stuff out of the way. Almost always, no, that's not true. I think there's 2 or 3 states in the country where if you have a 2-year electrical diploma or certificate or whatever, you're allowed to not have to do the classroom portion of your apprenticeship, but you still have to do the 8,000 hours of work, meaning you're still going to be an apprentice for 4 years. And if you come in with that diploma or certificate or whatever the fuck it is, guess how much more money they're going to pay you as a first-year apprentice? 99 times out of 100, fucking nothing, okay? I went through this apprenticeship program with plenty of people that did this. We made the same exact amount of money. It does nothing.
My offer is this. Nothing.
And that is why it's
one thing, and Nick may address this. The one thing I could see as to why go through the schools like this first, where you get your diploma before going into the apprenticeship, is you may not get paid more, but you've got the classwork behind you. And you can then focus exclusively on the job training, being the apprentice. So you can basically so it's, instead of, doing the apprenticeship, does he cover that? Okay, because that's the one thing I'm thinking of, and that's why I said he may cover this. And he may say exactly what, no. Tybo, what I'm saying is, he was talking about, hang on, let me back it up again.
Diploma or certificate or whatever, you're allowed to not have to do the classroom portion of your apprenticeship, but you still have to do the 8,000 hours of work, meaning you're still going to be an apprentice for 4 years. And if you come in with that diploma.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I can see the rationale benefit to just getting the classroom stuff out of the way, getting that done, and then when you start doing your apprenticeship, you have the knowledge and can focus on applying the knowledge in practice, and you're not having to do the bounce back and forth of doing the apprenticeship, and while you are engaged in the apprenticeship, also doing classroom at the same time. You have the classroom stuff done, and you can focus on the practical. You can take all that, put it into practice, see what's working, what doesn't, because God knows that when it comes to classroom and practical, those two can be very dynamically different, depending on the occupation in question. So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I can kind of see the benefit of going through the quote-unquote trade school and getting the diploma first before jumping into the apprenticeship. It's not a question of like, oh, I'm going to get paid more. Although people that do go into it thinking that, yeah, that's going to be a wake-up call. If you have the college done and you have 4 years of apprenticeship, you have to study harder for the test. Why would you say that, Steve? Where's your thought process on that? I'm not sure where that can. Okay.
You can get all the classroom stuff out of the way. Buh. Almost always, no, that's not true. I think there's 2 or 3 states in the country where if you have a 2-year electrical diploma or certificate or whatever, you're allowed to not have to do the classroom portion of your apprenticeship.
Ugh. Okay, my brain was cooking while he was saying that, and I probably missed that. Missed that part. I fixate on where he was saying, like, you still have to do the... Okay, so basically... What he's saying is the trade schools actually don't teach everything, and the diploma you get is kind of useless. Because even if you have this diploma, you're still going to need to go back and do classroom training. All right. Yeah, right. My brain was working, and I missed him saying that part, and I fixated on him saying you still have to do the on the job stuff. I missed it. I bet. I sorry.
4 years, and if you come in with that diploma or certificate or whatever the fuck it is, guess how much more money they're gonna pay you as a first-year apprentice? 99 times out of 100, fucking nothing, okay? I went through this apprenticeship program with plenty of people that did this. We made the same exact amount of money. It does nothing.
My offer is this. Nothing.
And that is why it's kind of a scam, right? When you go to, I don't know, nursing school, you graduate nursing school, you're automatically allowed to go take the state exam and get your RN license. You can't do that with an electrician. You go and you get their diploma that says you know what the fuck you're doing. Cool, you're still gonna go be an apprentice for 4 years, and you paid for 2 years of schooling when your contractor would have paid for it for you. And that's if you're in one of the 3...
Okay, and that's what you guys were saying. That's what you guys were saying is that, you know, who was it? Yeah, Sphinx, you said it. You're paying school money for potentially speaking a worthless diploma, and the employer would have paid for it at the very beginning. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. No electrician is job where you have to do an apprenticeship, which means that regardless of education level, you have to do on the job. Yes. Oh, Vipers. Yeah, he covered that already. Is that you have to do, what did he say was, what did he say was 8,000 hours? Effectively speaking, about 4 years of on the job training is required.
States that allows that. Almost all the states still require you to go through the 800 hours of the apprenticeship classroom time. So you can literally go to college for 2 years, pay a bunch of money, get your little diploma. Congratulations, you're still sitting through 800 hours of classroom time for your apprenticeship. And anybody that says otherwise either A, fell for the scam and doesn't want to admit it, or B, they have some financial incentive, like they're an instructor at one of these schools and they want to keep their own gravy train running in so they don't have to go back and work in the field, and they can sit in their nice office with air conditioning all day long. I'm gonna say it again and slower so it really sinks in. Go.
Well, Revan, are you being facetious about that? Because it's not simply figuring out how to hook up wires. You're kind of basically learning, essentially you're learning electrical engineering. It's not just like, how do you hook up wires? It's learning how electricity conducts. It's learning about how about the different densities of wiring and what is appropriate for which kind of load. And as somebody said, like doing conduit bending and how to properly feed the wires so it's done safely. And there's a lot involved. Yeah, things like building code. So it's not simply just figuring out to hook up wires. It's, essentially, as I said, it's like electrical engineering. They call it becoming an electrician, but you are learning electrical engineering. Key word there being engineering. You're learning the ins and outs of electricity, how it works, and how you, as the electrician, can harness it to travel to various types of, various types of electrical equipment or outlets, and what is needed to run this and what is needed to run that, and so on and so forth. So it's very involved. It's very involved, very complicated.
nice office with air conditioning all day long. I'm going to say it again and slower so it really sinks in. Going to college to become an electrician is not necessary in any of the 50 states in the United States of America, and very, very rarely is it even beneficial. To put this into perspective, if we take two 18-year-old high school kids that just graduated, one of them chooses to go into a 2-year community college program to be an electrician, and the other one just calls every contractor in town, asks for a job as a helper, and starts working the next day. What's going to end up happening is that helper within 6 months to a year is going to be offered the opportunity to join the apprenticeship program, and he's going to start a year before the other guy. Assuming everything goes well, he is then going to turn out, become a journeyman electrician a year before the other guy, make more money faster, and not have $12,000 of student debt to pay off because he got a 2-year diploma. Buh! But that guy with the 2-year diploma is more likely to get hired as an apprentice in the first place. Buh!
Even I know this is bullshit. Like, anybody with half a brain knows that's bullshit, especially in the trades. Okay? Maybe in business or accounting or finances or, computer coding, something like that. In the trades, the people that work in the trades know that it's all about the experience and it's all about the hands-on time that you have. So, yes, keyboard warrior, you're full of shit. Trade people will always take experience or just simple, how good are you? How good is your brain even before going to classes? Are you just normally a reasonably intelligent person, a reasonably logical person? Can you follow direction and learn? That's what they care about. Trades don't care about education. They do not. Because in the trades, the people in the trade, workforce, we'd prefer to give you your education on site. Give you your education hands-on over classroom because most tradespeople know that you get a better education learning hands-on than sitting in a classroom listening to someone lecture you about stuff. Because when you learn it in practice, not only are you learning what you learn in the classroom, but you're also learning how to implement it in the field and implement it, correctly faster than you will in a classroom. So, yes, even I know that the keyboard warrior is dead fucking wrong about this.
Maybe, but also not really. I know contractors that actively avoid hiring people that go through these programs because these programs tell these kids, oh, as soon as you graduate our program, you're going to be hired as a journeyman electrician and you're going to be making $35 an hour, $100,000 a year or whatever. And it's not true. So then they show up to work, they have a bad attitude and they already think they know everything. They actively avoid hiring these people for that reason. Because again, in reality, these programs count for nothing. You can graduate this program. Congratulations. Great job. I hope you had fun. Hope it was worth it. You're still getting hired as a first-year apprentice, making first-year apprentice wages, period, end of story, 99 times out of 100. How do I know that? A, I'm a journeyman electrician. B, I was actually one of the guys in charge of hiring new apprentices, and I cannot tell you the number of times I have had kids come in that had some certificate or diploma from a college that thought that made them a journeyman electrician. So when they come in and I tell them, no, you're not a journeyman electrician, you're not qualified to make $60 an hour and run your own job sites, they're extremely either disheartened or pissed off, and I don't blame them because they just spent 2 years of their life and a bunch of money getting told they're going to have a job paying $60 an hour, and in reality, they qualify for a job that pays them somewhere between $18 and $22 an hour as an entry-level apprentice.
Yeah. So, Leo, what you said, that the programs are lying to the students, 100% correct. And that's how these scams work. That's how probably what Nick is going to be jumping into on this. Is, okay, Five, we'll have a good night. Yeah, these programs, and it's not just the electrician programs, okay? It's not just these programs. There are many programs out there, both college and not college, okay? This is not strictly just college limited. There are many programs out there that will flat out lie to their prospective students and give them all sorts of lofty promises like, hey, if you take this course with us, you will get XYZ when you graduate. And it's a fucking lie. It's all just a fucking lie. And which begs the question, how are they still allowed to operate? My guess is that they probably something in their wording is allowed them to skate by in terms of any kind of like legal liability that they have lied to them or something like that. That would be my suspicion. I don't know. But it's, yeah, these, they are flat out lying. They're feeding on pipe dream. You can sometimes equate it to like military recruitment, because how many stories have you heard about people who go to a military recruiter and the military recruiter says, oh yeah, you're going to get to jump out of planes. And then you sign your contract and you realize you're just going to be a ground pounder for the next 4 years. And there's not a snowball's chance in hell you jumping out of a plane. We see this in more than just colleges. We see this in more than just trade. We see this kind of thing like everywhere. And unfortunately, like these in of itself, these days, is largely a scam and largely a lie. The only thing that I feel comfortable with, being legit about colleges is regarding the sciences. Physical sciences, astrophysical sciences, biological sciences, medical sciences. Those are the ones where it's like, yeah, you want college for that. With a lot of stuff these days, college is not really, I don't think it's necessary. There are so many things. Like, you have so many, I know that, I don't know if this is still a requirement, but like police forces. I know more and more police forces were requiring new hires to have fucking college degrees, which is fucking stupid. It's like so many jobs are saying like, oh, you have to have a college degree, when the job that you're doing makes no difference whether or not you have a college degree. The job that you are doing is not dependent on you having a college degree. They only like to say you need to have a college degree because it buffs their numbers up, saying like, look, we're hiring well-educated people that have a degree. And it just kind of buffs up numbers, but who it buffs it up to, I don't fucking know, but it's meaningless numbers because the job in question that you're doing doesn't need a degree. There's no need to have a degree of any kind to do a lot of jobs out there that are asking for the degree. And so that's why a lot of people are saying that college is a scam. How many people are getting college degrees and they cannot fucking do anything with it? Okay? Think about how often you hear stories of people that are going to college and getting a bachelor's or an associate's degree, and they get out of college and now they're working at McDonald's. Because the degree that they got, that they were promised, oh, you're going to be able to do this, you're going to do this, doesn't do fuck all for it. They can't get a fucking job. The stereotypical gender studies degree that does do fuck all. Hell, where I used to live, I heard about so many people that were getting like psychology degrees, or was it psychology degrees, or was it like therapist degrees? It was like a therapy degree, and they went fucking nowhere. Like, they'll get this therapy degree, they're not gonna be able to do a goddamn thing with it, and and a month after they graduate, they're gonna be working behind the cashier, working behind the cash of a gas station, because the degree is not gonna do anything with it. You're not gonna be able to do anything with it. That's the thing with degrees these days, is so many of them are fundamentally useless. They're so fucking useless. But people get sold on this thing of, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree to have a good paying job. And so what ends up happening is people go to school because it's drilled into their minds, you have to go to college and you have to get a degree or you'll be worthless to the job market. They end up being tens of thousands of dollars in debt for fucking years, like 10, 15 years at least that they're in debt, and the degree doesn't do fuck all, and they're stuck in a minimum wage job for God knows how long. That's the fallacy, and people are starting to wake up to it, honestly. I seriously think that people are starting to wake up to the fact that college degrees are not even worth the paper that they're printed on. And that's why there's been such a huge push, A, for college to be free. I know that's one reason that there's been a big push for college to be free. And B, while people are saying, fuck it, I don't need college, I'm just gonna go do a trade, and they can just get on-job training. And by the way, Noble Scott, thank you for the gifted over on Twitch. Thank you.
And in 47 out of the 50 states, you're still going to have to go to 800 hours of classroom training. Maybe you'll be relearning some stuff that you already learned at college, but that brings into question, why did you go off to college to learn it and pay money when you could have just learned it for free? Oh yeah, well, if you get that 2-year diploma, it can help you advance quicker and make more money down the line when you want to get promotions.
No. Except no. So when I know how you advance quicker and get promotions, you do a good job. That's how in the trade department, that is how you end up getting a promotion. You kick ass at your job, you do well, and you impress your bosses. Having a degree changes fucking nothing in this respect. If you basically just do your job and do it well, the bosses will notice this, and thus you will get the promotion. That's basic logic.
Promotions, Again, no, not true. That's some bullshit they tell you at these schools to get you to spend money on their program, okay? Having a journeyman electrician's license is like the pinnacle of being a journeyman. Everything below that doesn't matter once you have that, okay? Saying that you're gonna get preferential treatment because you have a certificate or something from a community college while also having a journeyman electrician's license is like saying if they're hiring 2 ER trauma doctors, they're both board certified ER trauma doctors with experience, but one of them also took a CPR class and knows how to do CPR, so we're gonna hire that one and give him the promotion. Not true.
Yeah.
They're both fucking trauma doctors. They both know how to do fucking CPR, okay? Nobody gives a shit. You think when some company's hiring a master mechanic to run their auto shop and they have 2 master mechanics with experience that are applying, but one of them has a fucking certificate from Jiffy Lube that says he knows how to change oil, you think that's gonna tip the scales in his favor? No, they're both master mechanics. They know how to change fucking oil.
Yep.
You're just one of those crazy anti-college people. No, I'm not. I've been to college. I have multiple college degrees. I'm not anti-college if it's something you need to go to college for. What I am anti is telling these kids that they're going to be making $70 an hour and they're going to be a qualified journeyman so that you can milk money out of them and waste their fucking time. That's what I'm against. Well, if you get your diploma first, you at least won't have to be the new guy and do all the shitty work. Look at
What kind of logic is that? Where did this logic come from? If you're new on a job, if you're new in a career and you have a degree, you don't think you're gonna be the FNG? Dude, tell me you don't know how life works without telling me you don't know how life works.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Exactly. Hey, fucking exactly. Yes. Degree or not, when you're the new guy, you're the fucking new guy. Degree means precisely fuck all. Every time.
Look at me. Look at me. Bullshit. When you are the new guy, you will be the fucking new guy, okay?
No fucking den. See, Nick, yes, we're one. I'm one with Nick right now. God damn it, I'm doing this a lot lately.
If anything, you'll get bullied for paying for apprenticeship and hazed.
Hazed, yes. Bullied, no. I'm not gonna say bullied. Hazed and fuck with, yes. I don't think bullied though. No, I did not watch I did not rewatch Sketty. I have not. And Thank you, Novos. Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't care what diploma or certificate you have, you are gonna be the guy that's digging the ditches. You are gonna be the guy whose job it is to hold the flashlight and shut the fuck up for the first couple years you are an apprentice electrician. That's just how this goes.
Left you a little gift in there. Not too hard, not too soft. Perfect.
And that's not even specific to being an electrician or the trades in general. That's pretty much every career path on the planet. Go watch fucking Scrubs or Grey's Anatomy or any of these other medical shows. All the new doctors have to do the scut work, all the work that none of the more experienced doctors want to do. They have to go do it, okay? This is every job on the planet. There is no school or college you can go to that's gonna let you speed run being the new guy, so you might as well get over that right now. And for the love of God, if you went to one of these schools and got one of these diplomas or certificates, do yourself and everyone else a favor. Do not show up your first day of work thinking that any work is beneath you. Because at best,
that's good advice for literally any new job you go to. For any new job, like this is not just like, okay, you got, what Nick is saying here with the electricians. Doesn't even just apply to that. This, I would say his advice applies to literally any new job you go to. Even if it's a job that you have done before. Like say, okay, I'll use a police job, okay? If you were a police officer, you've been a police officer for 5 years, okay? Throwing out a number. You've been a police officer for 5 years. And you leave your police department and you get hired onto a new police department. Even though you have 5 years of experience as a police officer, you still don't go into that new police department thinking you are the cat's ass and you can fucking do anything because you've got 5 years of experience. Because it is a completely different environment. No, that it's not that the time doesn't mean shit, Mike. It's just when you go into a new job, even if you have done or have learned about this job in a previous job or previous training or whatever, you don't know how the people in this new job operate. They may do things much differently than you are experienced with. So in my police officer example, you've done 5 years in this department, and then you apply and get onto this department. You have no idea how they operate as a whole. Yes, you may know how the law works. You may know how investigations work, but you don't know a lot of the like idiosyncrasies that occur with this police department, how they operate, how they work on a shift, how they work with communications, how the people that you are policing are, and how you are supposed to engage with that. You don't go in, and again, that's just an example from law enforcement, but it's like any job you do, you don't know how people operate in that job. You don't know how your fellow employees operate. You don't know how the management operates. You don't know how the people you are interacting with operate. You go in, even if you have knowledge, you go in with the mentality of, okay, I've got some knowledge, but I want to see how they choose to implement that kind of knowledge versus how I'm used to doing it. Go in with an open mind. Don't go thinking you're the cat's ass. Go in thinking I'm going to learn how they do things in their way. If you go in with that frame of logic, you will be a lot better off than just going in thinking you are the shit. And that you walking in thinking I'm going to run this place. That's just basic. That's just basic common sense for any new job, regardless of what the job is.
You're gonna get bullied, and at worst, everybody's gonna absolutely hate you. You're gonna get teamed up with some old journeyman that's been doing this for 30 years. He grew up in a house that didn't even have electricity, and when he became an electrician, it was literally going around town lighting the fucking light poles in his town, okay? He's been an electrician since electricity became mainstream, and he is gonna walk you over to a control cabinet that's got 12,000 wire terminations in it, open it up, look at you and say, okay, college boy, fucking show me what's up. And you're gonna be standing there like, fuck, I don't know anything.
You know what all those wires do?
Yeah, of course. Yellow, see? The sun is yellow, it heats the ground. That's how they name stuff.
Perfect example.
And you know what? that's completely okay because you are a first-year apprentice. You just have to understand that you don't know anything so that you can learn. So hopefully by now you understand that if you want to be an electrician, you do not need to go to some college program for 2 years to get that diploma. So the next question is, how the fuck do you get into an apprenticeship? This is gonna sound like some boomer back in my day bullshit, but it's literally what I did 10 years ago. If you decide you want to be an electrician, call every contractor in town, ask for a job as a helper, say you'd like to work your way into being an apprentice. You'll probably have a job by the end of today, if not by the end of the week. And if you could show up on time, have a good attitude, and not be completely stupid, you will have a leg up in the hiring process when that apprenticeship slot opens up, because the company already knows you. They know you can show up on time. They know you work hard. They probably already like you. You're already one of the boys. In that situation, do you think your boss, when he's picking his next apprentice, is going to pick some dude that came from a community college that has expectations that he can't meet as an employer? Or do you think he's just going to give it to the guy that he already knows and trusts? He gives it to the guy he already knows and trusts. I'll give you the answer. The next question I get asked every single time, is this true for all other trade schools? I don't want to be an electrician. I want to be a welder or a plumber or whatever the fuck. An honest answer, I don't know. I'm not a journeyman in all other trades, so I can't tell you. My best piece of advice would be to get a hold of a journeyman that is in that trade and ask them. They'll give you a really good idea. How do you get a
I would say that Nick's advice in regarding just reaching out to electrical contractors and asking to be a helper could also apply to other trades too. Like, if you don't know, fucking call one and say, "Listen, I'm interested in doing this job, doing this work. Do you have helpers? Do you have apprenticeship programs? What can I do to get started in this trade?" And they will tell you. If they can't hire, they'll tell you, well, this is what you're going to need to do. They'll give you an idea of the route you need to take to facilitate getting involved in that trade. It's the logic follows the exact same path as what Nick has been talking about this whole time about becoming an electrician. You'd probably just do the same goddamn thing.
A hold of one of these journeymen. Super simple. If you want to be a plumber, look up plumbing shops in your area, find the one that's got good reviews, call them and say, "Hey, I'm a senior in high school and I'm doing a high school project because I think I want to be a plumber. Would it be possible for me to interview one of your best journeymen or best foremen or best superintendents for 5 minutes so I could ask them some questions?" They will almost guaranteed help you out, get you in contact with that person, and then you can have that conversation. It's that simple. Now, that being said, all the trades kind of work with each other. I've worked with plumbers, HVAC guys, welders. I've worked around and with everybody. Generally speaking, from what I've gathered, from what I've heard, again, not gospel, just what I've heard from other people, heating and cooling and HVAC are both great. You should probably go to college for them. I've heard that those programs can help you a ton. Same thing goes for automotive. Same thing goes for like tool and die and machining. Welding and plumbing, it's kind of what you want to do because those are very broad career paths. If you want to be like a residential plumber that's going and doing water lines and putting toilets in houses, school can help you with that. If you want to be a welder like in a factory on an assembly line, welding school can absolutely help you with that. But if you want to be the plumber, welder, pipe fitter dude that's making like $1,000 per diem and $150 an hour because he's got the special skills to do these high pressure welds and all this other crazy shit, the schools are not really going to help you with that. And I know this because my best friend, the best man in my wedding, is that guy. He is the one that gets paid a bunch of money per diem and gets paid a ton of money per hour and has to travel to go do specialty welds that only he's certified to do, and not many people can do what he does. And he went to one of these fancy welding schools right out of high school. He went to, I believe it's considered one of the top 2 welding schools in the entire country on the other side of the country from where he lived. He moved out there for 2 years, spent 40, 50 grand to go to this school, and he was told he was going to be hot shit. He was going to get a job paying $50 to $70 an hour right out of the gate. Came back home. The only people that would hire him were willing to pay him $18 an hour to do welds on a factory line. He worked that job for a couple of years, and then he decided he was going to apply to be an apprentice with the plumbing union so that he could get his journeyman's license. And guess what? He got hired as a first-year apprentice. Guess how much money he made? First-year apprentice pay, the same exact amount of money that people with literally no experience that just got out of high school were also making. He said that there was absolutely nothing he learned at this tech school that was not covered by his apprenticeship over the course of that 4 years. And if he could go back and do it all over again, he would have just joined the apprenticeship right out of high school, saved himself $40,000, $50,000 and 4 years of his time. But that's anecdotal evidence. I am not a journeyman welder or pipe fitter or plumber. I would double check with somebody that is. Now, the next question you're going to ask, because this also gets very confusing, is should I be union or non-union electrician? Full transparency, I was a union electrician my entire career. Why did I end up going that route? very simply because they were the first company that hired me and they happen to be union. And this is going to piss off everybody because people have very, very strong opinions about whether or not you should or shouldn't be union. Whatever, you can have those opinions. I'm speaking to the 18-year-old kid that doesn't know anything. Deciding that right now is not like a life-altering fate decision, okay? I've met people that started in the non-union apprenticeship, got mad at their contractor, quit, and then joined the union apprenticeship and went on to become union journeymen. I know people that have flunked out of the union apprenticeship program, not because they were stupid or dumb or couldn't hack it, but because they had some own personal life issues going on and they ended up losing their job in the union. They went to a non-union shop, continued their apprenticeship, and they became a non-union journeyman. I've met shitty union electricians that I wouldn't trust to wire my house, and I've met union electricians that I've seen frequently have to correct electrical engineers, and they're absolutely brilliant, and I can say the same exact thing about non-union shops. Being union.
Basically, I think what he's saying is union or not union, it doesn't mean it's, I don't know. When it comes to unions, I've heard both good things and bad. And I think Nick is about to say the same thing. It's like, in the end, it doesn't matter. It's unions in at least in the trade is, I think it depends more upon the employer and the people that work for them versus whether or not they're a union. It's so, my suspicion, what Nick's about to say is, don't go based upon a union. Maybe go based upon the quality of the tradesmen that are there. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's going to say that, but yeah, it all depends. Like, anyway, I would just end up repeating what Nick said, but I'll just let it cook on that.
Union or non-union is not going to be the determining factor on whether or not you're going to be a good electrician. You are that determining factor.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
The only caveat I'll throw in is if you join the union apprenticeship with a union contractor, it's going to be squared away. You're going to have a very clear path of how to get your journeyman's license, and you will have the same exact thing with, I hope, the majority and the significant amount of non-union shops. However, because non-union shops are less regulated, there is the potential for some contractors to be shitty and not get you the right training with the state accredited program in a timely fashion. So if you're going non-union, which is completely fine, just make sure it's with a good non-union contractor that's going to get you going to the actual state accredited apprenticeship classes. Again, full transparency, I didn't want to make this video. It's not my normal jam. It's not some funny internet business, and it's not some history with a war hero or whatever. That's usually what I do here on YouTube. But I did want to answer these kids' questions. So originally, I just made a social media post over on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to call it, explaining this, and the amount of backlash I got from people that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about was insane. So we're just going to go over and read some of the tweets, and we'll actually see how correct they are.
Oh, we didn't think this was going to be fun, chat. I think we've just hit the fun part of the video. Nick is gonna start going off on Twitter freaks. Here we fucking go.
Again, just for context, my tweet essentially said that trade schools to become an electrician are essentially a scam because they're not required in any of the 50 states, and you can just get paid while you learn and have your contractor pay for your actual in-classroom experience, and you should just attempt to do that instead. And here are some of the comments that I received. Quote, fuck basic training, let's just grab a rifle and head off to war. No, fuckhead.
What? Fucking what? Really? Fucking really? This guy is really gonna make this goddamn leap. Okay, and I hate people that do that fucking do this. This is just so fucking stupid. Like, Nick is painting it out right here. Yeah, apprenticeship is the basic training. He is absolutely right. I would even go so far as to say that the helper is part of the basic training and the apprenticeship is AIT. Although the apprenticeship is also some of the basic training. But you get, like, this is not the same fucking thing, you numbnuts. Real, like, where the fuck is this guy coming off where he's just like, this doesn't able to just start fucking rewiring houses and businesses. He's literally saying, talk to a contractor, get on as a helper, and then become an apprentice and learn under the tutelage, because the whole purpose of an apprenticeship is you are learning under the tutelage of an experienced journeyman. Where in the fuck is he coming up with this gobbledygook bullshit? Right, Nick, rip him a new one.
War. No, fuckhead. The apprenticeship is the basic training. Do you understand that? Going to a tech school for 2 years before entering your apprenticeship is akin to going to a community college for 2 years to get a certificate or diploma in being a soldier before you ship off to basic training. It's fucking dumb and unneeded. From Anonymous, buddy, it's not about what you learn. If 2 people apply for a job and one can show a degree and the other can't, guess who gets the job? You live in a country where people are showing college degrees to flip burgers at fucking
Hold up. It's not about what you learn. If 2 people apply for the job, one can show a degree and the other... Dude, you just tanked your own fucking argument. This guy literally just tanked his own fucking argument. He's trying to say, like, oh, if you can show a degree and the other one can't, guess who gets the job? And then he's saying people are showing degrees to flip. What the? I don't even think this guy knows what he's talking about. Leo, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he even knows what he's talking about. I think he's just saying shit just to just to start shit. I think he's trolling just to try and get a response from Nick. Honestly. Because, leave us out. Look at his username is Anonymous. And of course he's got the symbol of Anonymous. I literally think he was trying to troll Nick. I think he was just trying to get a response from him. Because he's literally talking out of both sides of his mouth on this one. Without question. This is literally a both sides of the mouth thing. And Construction Cryptid, thank you for the tier 1.
At fucking McDonald's. Saying it's not about what you learn in reference to going to college.
Okay, hang on. Since you brought up eerily, yes. There is Hamburger U. There is indeed. It's in Northern Illinois. It used to be in Northern Illinois. They moved it to Chicago. But I have been to the old campus before. The old Hamburger U campus. I have been there to visit it back when it was still in Northbrook. I think it used to be in Northbrook. They moved it to Chicago, but it used to be in Northbrook. And I did have occasion to visit the campus there.
At fucking McDonald's. Saying it's not about what you learn in reference to going to college to get an education is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And this attitude of, it doesn't matter if I learn anything as long as I've got a piece of paper that says I know something, is the reason that nobody gives a fuck about college degrees in the trades in the first place. Congratulations, you're part of the problem.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot! You're an idiot!
The problem with going down this path is a lot of people can't afford to do an unpaid apprenticeship. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. There is no such thing as an unpaid trades apprenticeship.
I know what this guy did. This guy's conflating apprenticeship with internship. That's what this poster did. Hang on. Let me back it up. This guy is equating apprenticeship with internship. This guy's seen too many fucking Hallmark and Hollywood movies where the unpaid intern is going into business as a part of part of their business degree, and part of it is they do an unpaid internship. This is not the same thing. There is no such thing as an unpaid apprenticeship. So this guy is either a fucking moron, or he's like, again, he's conflating incorrectly apprenticeships with internships. I'm guessing he's a fucking moron. That is my suspicion.
It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. There is no such thing as an unpaid trades apprenticeship. It doesn't fucking exist. It might have back in the fucking 1800s, but it doesn't right now, okay? I can't speak for every local or every sector of the country, but in Iowa, if you were a first-year apprentice in a smaller town that's the lower paid, our first-year apprentices are making like, I believe, $20 an hour day one with full healthcare coverage and retirement benefits. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. And then
yes,
every
Laura,
year
I agree.
of the 4-year apprenticeship that you complete, you get a raise. And then once you get your journeyman's license, you get a big raise and you're making like $60 an hour. Quote, or hear me out, you attend and graduate your chosen trade and then enter at top position with top pay. What a dumbass take. No.
All right, Nick. Blast his ass because you just spent the last 20 minutes explaining how that don't fucking happen. So, Nick, fire at will.
Graduate your chosen trade and then enter at top position with top pay. What a dumbass take. No, fuck stick, that's not how that works. You are not going to graduate from a community college and get a journeyman's license and get top pay or anything else. You are qualified to be a first-year apprentice and that's fucking it. You will get paid first apprenticeship wages just like everybody else that has no experience whatsoever. Shut up. This is why I'm making this video, because people that know absolutely fucking nothing about this have extremely strong opinions because they've been just from kindergarten through 12th grade beaten into their fucking head that if they don't go to some type of school, they're not going to make a bunch of money. It's not true. It's complete fucking bullshit.
This is what I was saying.
Are sued and go bankrupt and go out of business all the fucking time because they always get in trouble for fraud because they tell these kids, come here, get our certificate, you're going to be qualified to make $100,000 a year, and it very rarely, if ever, fucking happens. I have no reason to lie to you about this, okay? I volunteered to be on the hiring committee for my union because I like helping kids. I loved training apprentices. I would go back to doing it in a heartbeat if this YouTube thing dries up. So again, just so we're on the same page, trade school, tech school, some program at a community college that gives you a certificate or a diploma to be an electrician is not required in any state in the United States of America, and rarely is it helpful. It's more often than not a humongous waste of both your time and your money.
I'm trying to help you.
The only people that I would recommend them to are high school kids that are graduating and know they want to go into trades, but they also want to go get a college experience and party and drink with their friends, and they want to learn something applicable to that, and they just have an understanding of they're not going to be hot shit just because they graduated. Good, great option. If you want to go blow 12 grand, make memories, have the time of your life, awesome. Again, same thing with military veterans. You've been in the military for 4, 6, 8, 10 years and you have a GI Bill that's going to pay for everything and you just want to go off for a couple of years and party and drink and have fun. A great purpose for that too. Just please, for your own good, do not let them convince you that you were going to get this diploma or certificate after 2 years of a community college and you're going to come out making $100,000 a year and that you know as much as a journeyman electrician, because neither of those things are true.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So yeah, sorry this wasn't a normal Fat Electrician or Fat Files video. This is kind of a one-off. I'll get back to my normal content as soon as possible. I've just had thousands of people ask me this question, and I'm in a unique position with this platform to get this answer out to as many people as possible.
Wonderful. Nick, that was very educational.